Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I want to talk a bit about Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank has said that he knows how to beat Gennady Golovkin. Guys, as you saw from my fight review with Salman, wasn't impressed. Wasn't impressed with that performance. Some people were impressed. Some people were saying, you know, he looks great. He did a great job. You know, he won the fight. He was coasting. I just think there was so much there not to be desired. He, for me, fought a very disjointed fight. The performance was very disjointed. He dropped him a couple of times early on in the fight. Then after that, he kind of went coasting and just went missing. I'm not even coasting, because coasting is like when you're winning the rounds, but you're just doing enough to win. But he wasn't even doing enough to win. He was losing the rounds. And that's a worrying sign, because there's many fighters that can coast and win the rounds. Like Amir Khan used to do that. After 5-6 rounds, he used to coast, but he used to win the rounds. You know, Eubank wasn't winning the rounds. He was losing the rounds. And that's why Liam Williams got into the fight. I was not impressed with that performance. I don't know how people looked at that performance and thought that was a good performance. He was fighting a guy, like, if you perform like that and win at world level, I'm talking world level against champions, or you become a world champion fighting like that, I have no problem, because then you're fighting at the top. But if you're fighting a domestic level, European level fighter, and you're dropping him 3 times and then losing rounds in the middle where he's catching up on you, this was a fight where Eubank could have made a real statement. Demetrius Andrade went the distance with him, and Eubank had an opportunity to make a statement. I don't believe he did that. I thought his performance was very disjointed. And by the way, Campos asked me, Imran, do you think that his performance was better than Demetrius Andrade? I don't think it was. I don't think it was. Andrade's performance was far more sharper, far more skilled, and you could tell there was a proper boxer in there. Eubank lacks fundamentals for me. He goes missing in the fight. He doesn't throw enough punches. He lacks basic fundamentals. You can tell that this is not a classy quality boxer. And the worst thing was, it was a terrible fight because of how disjointed Eubank is. He doesn't throw enough punches. He doesn't let his hands go. He hardly throws any punches. I don't know how, like, George Groves gave an interview, which I all recommend you guys to watch, on Boxing Social. And he was like, I wasn't impressed at all. Eubank's feet were terrible. You know, he wasn't throwing enough punches. You know, his performance looked disjointed, what I'm saying. And that's what George Groves echoed, the same thing that I'm saying. His performance just looked disjointed. He wasn't on, like, his balance wasn't there. You know, he has no power in his shots, because I don't think he's in the right position to throw those shots. He's just such a disjointed fighter. And against anyone of any kind of substance at world level, he can't win. Like, I don't see, like George Groves said the same thing, I don't see how he beats Golovkin. How can he beat Golovkin? And George Groves echoed that. He goes, I know Golovkin's 39 and 40, but I don't see how he beats Golovkin. How? He can't hurt Golovkin. He hasn't got the power. He's not the fundamentally most sound fighter out there. He's not going to outbox Golovkin. Golovkin's going to walk forward and pressure him and start throwing a lot of shots. And he's not exactly got a great defense. You know, Williams caught him many times in that fight. How does he beat Gennady Golovkin? I don't give him a prayer in that fight. And this isn't even a prime Golovkin. This is a 40-year-old Golovkin. I don't give him a chance. I don't see how people were impressed with that performance. I thought it was a very, very mediocre performance. He doesn't look to me like he has great boxing skill. And I actually think, in my opinion, I think he's trying to imitate Roy Jones. That some of the moves that he was doing, he's trying to imitate him, but it just doesn't look looks disjointed. His performance doesn't look great. And it's not just been this fight, it's been a couple of fights now where Eubank hasn't really impressed. You know, you can make excuses for him and say, well, you know, he coasted. I just don't think he's a very skilled boxer. And I think as soon as he steps up against someone like Golovkin, I think he's going to be made to look very, very poor. You know, I don't think he has the boxing. I don't think he has the boxing skills to compete with someone like Golovkin. I think it could get ugly in there. You know, Eubank has a very good chin. And he can take a punch, but I just don't see how he can keep Golovkin off. I think Golovkin's going to keep coming, and Golovkin has the power to hurt him. There's no doubt about it. And if not hurt him, he'll wear him down. I don't see how Eubank wins that fight. And Canelo would be a total mismatch. Canelo would absolutely obliterate Eubank. It wouldn't even be a fight. I don't think Golovkin would be that competitive, and Canelo would do some serious damage as far as I'm concerned, because I just don't think Eubank has the skill set. There's something missing for me. And I don't think I've seen that much improvement from him. Like Conor Benn, for example, like I've seen a lot of improvement. When I see improvement, I'll say it. When it comes to Eubank, I haven't really seen that much improvement from him at all. You know, he seems the same fighter to me. I don't really see much improvement. He had a good shot jab, which put Williams down, and that's about it, though. Yeah, I wasn't that impressed. I thought it was a very laboured performance against, like I said, a British domestic level fighter who, by the way, might be on the slide after watching that performance. He might be on the slide because, you know, his punch resistance looked questionable because he was getting dropped by jabs. You know, they weren't even solid shots he was getting dropped by. He was getting dropped by jabs. And Liam Williams is someone that's known for having a good chin. So I was a bit, the performance from both guys was a little bit weird. I didn't really understand the flow of the fight. It was just weird. It was a very poor fight to watch. And that's the other thing. I always looked at Eubank as an exciting fighter. I now look at him as a very boring fighter. A very disjointed fight. That was a very, very boring performance. And the showboating was, like, I didn't understand it. Like, you know, Roy Jones used to showboat a lot, but Roy Jones did some serious damage in that ring. Same with Naseem Hamed. They used to showboat, but they were a delight to watch. This man's not a delight to watch because he doesn't have their skill set. And he's not really doing any damage to the guys in there, but he's showboating, and that's not a good look. Naseem Hamed showboating and Roy Jones showboating is a different thing, because those guys had serious skill set. They were naturally very gifted and talented fighters, whereas someone like Eubank doesn't have that kind of skill set. So him doing it, he looks kind of foolish. He doesn't have the skill set that those guys had. So he's just like, yeah, I just don't see him standing a chance against Golovkin. I was just being brutally honest. I don't see how he beats him. I don't see how he can win that fight. I don't know how you guys explain to me, how does Eubank win against Golovkin? I just don't see a possible way of him winning that fight. No chance. No chance whatsoever. Golovkin's too strong. He hits too hard. I just don't see that fight. I just don't see that fight being competitive. I'm being brutally honest. Even 40-year-old Golovkin, I don't see how that fight's competitive. If you guys think otherwise, leave your thoughts in the comment section. But yeah, I don't see how Eubank beats Golovkin at all. I think Golovkin is too skilled. He's got too good a jab. His footwork is amazing. I think the way he'll cut off the ring, and Eubank fighting off the back foot against Golovkin isn't going to work. I don't think Eubank has the power to hurt Golovkin. It's a mismatch, in my opinion. Going off what I saw here, it's a mismatch. Can't see Eubank coming anywhere close to beating Golovkin. Salman hit the nail on the head. He said that he's got no chance. No chance. And when I first saw Eubank, I thought he was going to go on to do big things. I bought into the hype a long time ago. But unfortunately, Eubank for me hasn't developed the way he should have done. I just think he lacks fundamentals. I think he's fighting really weird at this point. He's had some good moments in that fight against Williams, but then he kind of backs off and just steps off the gas and doesn't really do anything. The problem is he's not really doing a lot in the rounds. He's not really throwing a lot of punches, and when he is throwing, he's wild at times. He's missing a lot. Williams isn't hard to hit. He's not like he's a defensive genius. And the amount of times Eubank was missing in that fight, Williams was making him miss so many times. And like I said, Williams isn't known for being a defensive wizard, and Williams he was missing Williams. So, yeah, man. Imagine him against Canelo. Imagine how bad Canelo would make him look with Canelo's defense. Canelo Alvarez would make Eubank look so bad. So bad. It'd be embarrassing. Because I think Eubank would struggle to land a glove on Canelo. Seriously, I'm being serious. I don't think he'd land many shots. I'd be very surprised if he lands many flush shots on Canelo Alvarez. With what I saw tonight, I don't see how he lands a lot of punches because Canelo's got some of the best head movement, such good defense. I just can't see him landing. I think Andrade would absolutely school Eubank. I think Charlo would be too good. I think Charlo's jab movement, athleticism would be too much for Eubank as well. I don't see how Eubank beats any of those top guys. I don't see how he beats any of those top guys, to be honest with you. And I'm be brutally honest with you, I don't even think he beats Billy Joe Saunders if they were to rematch. Even though Saunders might be shot to bits and might not have the desire. I agree with Salman. I don't see him beating Saunders because Saunders is a proper boxer. When you see Saunders box, you don't see a disjointed performance. You see a proper boxer. With Eubank, it's a disjointed performance. It's kind of frustrating to watch. It's like, what is he doing? He was frustrating to watch, really. It was very frustrating to watch. And to be honest with you, I think Golovkin would stop Eubank. Honestly, I think Canelo would stop him in 3 rounds. I think Golovkin would stop him in 3-4 as well. I just don't see how Eubank. I just don't think he has much about him. I don't think he has much skill set. I don't think he has it. To be honest, at world level, I think those guys are gonna beat him soundly as well, if I'm honest with you. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think I'm being too harsh? Or do you just think Eubank hasn't got it at that kind of level? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.